All right, welcome back to MMA Al Dente. I'm here to talk to you guys about Alonzo Menifield versus Misha Cirkunov. This should be a fun fight, and that's because Misha Cirkunov's in it, and he's a guy generally who lives or dies by the finish. Alonzo Menifield definitely has the capability of finishing Misha Cirkunov, especially with his fists, but he has the tendency to fight slower fights. He's one of those guys that's got cardio concerns, and that's good that he's mitigated all that by fighting slower when he needs to. But in this fight, I think he needs to up the aggression because I think you can take out Misha Cirkunov mentally just as easily as you could physically. And that's not to knock him. I'm mentally weak. I'm fucking weaker than anybody. But inside the cage, it's easier to spot weakness. And, I see that from Misha Cirkunov. Of course, physically, he might be pretty frail too as well. But I think he's just got to be discouraged a little bit, and he'll find a way out. He'll shell out in this one. Shell up and get TKO'd. I'd hate to talk so disrespectfully about a fighter, but that's just what I see from Misha Cirkunov, so I have to call it like I see it. I did have high hopes for him. Just whatever it was 4 years ago, 3 years ago. He was on the verge of fighting DC or John Jones or whoever, and he was looking great. And then Volkan Oezdemir happened, I think, and then it was one after another, and he's had some redeeming moments, big moments, win over Jimmy Crute via Peruvian necktie, but it's almost all been losses since that Oezdemir fight, and it just hasn't looked good, for him, despite the level of competition, which has been quite high. His nights off are against Ryan Spann and Johnny Walker, and both those guys took him out pretty early. So, Misha Cirkunov's definitely, he's been in there with a lot of tough fighters, and this is no different. Menifield is a big power puncher. I don't think he's going to hit a flying knee like Johnny Walker, but I think he punches harder than Johnny Walker and Ryan Spann. He doesn't have the same physical advantages they have, but he's got his own advantages, and that he might be tougher to bully around, being that he's a brick shithouse. And his cardio's held up well, not every time in the UFC, but overall I do trust he can fight hard for 15 minutes. I look at the two guys and I think at this point Menifield can handle adversity. And I don't think Misha Cirkunov can, not too much. Even against Crute, he was almost TKO'd, I thought, in that fight. So I just think it's going to take one moment for Menifield, one momentum swing, just to seize that opportunity and put him away. And it may not be where Misha's unconscious. He may just shell up and get finished, But betting-wise, I guess there's nothing too enticing. I want to see the prop bets because Alonzo Menifield's too big of a favorite for me to bet on him. Misha Cirkunov's enticing at plus 175 because I know what he's capable of offensively. This guy's an incredible grappler, and even on the feet, technically, he's competent. I just think, he can't take it. He's got the Jordan Wright syndrome, even though Jordan Wright will go unconscious, whereas Misha, you have to question his consciousness. But there's got to be something to betting on Misha Cirkunov, maybe round 3 or decision, but that's just some sprinkle, some hedge. My bet, my prediction, Alonzo Menifield gets it done. I do like the under. The under I have bet on. You can get that at almost even money, minus 110. I'm not married to it because it's, I never really love the under 1.5 rounds, but when it's Misha Cirkunov, I like it. I've bet on it and only lost against Jocko, I think, was the only time the under has haunted me, has not worked for me with Misha Cirkunov. He's, susceptible to being put away early. The thing is, with the under, you have to watch for Misha Cirkunov using his height, his range, his speed to slow the fight down on the feet. And, of course, he's skilled enough to slow the fight down grappling-wise. He can get dirty in the clinch. I just think, give him 7.5 minutes fighting Menifield, and something's going to go wrong, and when it does, that's going to be that. So, still, I am inclined to think that there will be a finish in under a round and a half, but, don't bet your house on it. Just bet the car. All right, like, share, subscribe, all that horse shit.